Hello, the Pioneer viewers. We continue to bring you hot developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. As you know, the war continues. While the parties continue their mutual attacks, developments outside the war are also shaping the war. The increasing conflicts in recent days cause losses that the parties have difficulty in compensating. Periods of war place a high economic burden on states. Due to this economic burden, states may have to restrict their expenditures. While war expenditures cover a significant part of the economy, social expenditures may be cut. In this case, the welfare level of the people declines and the people may be left alone with their problems. All these possibilities form the basis of the problems arising from the war economy. The war between Russia and Ukraine brings the problems of war to the surface in terms of economic indicators. Moscow is struggling to compensate for the losses of the war it started. The Ukrainian army, on the other hand, has tried to overcome the difficulties by restructuring its expenditures throughout the war. Russia's invasion attempt against Ukraine has been going on for more than 2 years. The invasion attempt, which turned into a war, has taken the Moscow administration by surprise. Developments during the war helped the process to continue in Ukraine's favor. The Ukrainian army initially had relatively limited capabilities. Throughout the war, plans and strategies strengthened the Ukrainian army's defense against the occupation. The support provided to Ukraine by European countries and the United States strengthened the Ukrainian army. In addition, the sanctions and embargoes against Russia have pushed Moscow into a corner. The increasing counterattacks of the Ukrainian army in recent days reveal the change in the course of the war. A development in the past day could have a major impact on the war. The long-awaited U.S. aid bill was finally approved by Congress. The news, which was greeted with great enthusiasm on the Ukrainian front, reached thousands of people in a short time. Now, if you are ready, let's analyze the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on the Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us in the comments. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. The aid bill approved by Congress the other day was greeted with great enthusiasm. After the approval of the aid bill, which Kiev authorities had been waiting for a long time, there was uneasiness in Moscow. The news reflected on the agenda caused great excitement for Ukraine. The contents of the aid package were described as very important gains for Ukraine. The long-awaited legislation to help Ukraine continue its fight against Russia passed U.S. lawmakers with priorities including Washington's support for ballistic missiles and a long-term strategy for Kiev. Opposition from some Republicans in the U.S. House had prevented the Biden administration from sending an aid package to Kiev since December. Developments over the last 4 months have meant that Russia has taken advantage of the dwindling supplies of Ukrainian ammunition and equipment during the 2-year war. Finally, U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson proposed a vote the other day on 4 separate bills to help Ukraine. Other packages included support for Israel, the Indo-Pacific, and other national security priorities. Organizations helping Ukrainians on the front line and in the occupied territories have been demanding that Kiev get more aid through Washington as soon as possible. Delays in aid packages have reportedly led to more Russian shelling. Failure to deliver the expected aid leads to more casualties. The 49-page Ukraine Security Supplemental Appropriations Act, posted on the House of Representatives website, covers the fiscal year ending September 30, 2024. Of the $60.84 billion outlined, more than 1/3 of the $60.84 billion in spending represents $23.2 billion in support for the U.S. military, focused on upgrading weapons and ammunition systems. Legislation to provide more military aid for Ukraine has faced opposition from some Republicans who say a foreign aid bill should be tied to security along the U.S.-Mexico border. In February, the Senate passed a bill providing $95 billion in wartime aid to Ukraine, Israel, and other allies. The bill introduced this week includes $13.8 billion for arms purchases from the United States. It differs from the other bill in that it provides more than $9 billion in economic aid to Ukraine in the form of loans. The idea of structuring aid as loans is a policy proposal of former President Donald Trump and is supported by some Republicans. The legislation included the transfer of Army tactical missile systems, the long-range system Ukraine first used against Russia in October 2023. Kiev has long called for increased long-range firepower to counter Moscow's aggression. The legislation faced a tough test in front of Parliament, which attempted to amend it before lawmakers voted on it. There was great joy and excitement in Ukraine after the bill was approved. The U.S. House of Representatives finally approved the bill after a difficult process. The $95 billion aid package to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan came into force. The aid package will be submitted to the Senate for approval in the coming days, and then the aid packages will be implemented. The aid package, which had been waiting for approval for a long time, was approved in the Republican-dominated House of Representatives despite the objections of some Republicans. The package includes $61 billion in military aid to Ukraine. More than a third of this amount is planned to be allocated to the renewal of weapons and ammunition. The remaining amount is expected to be allocated to infrastructure and social spending. Speaking after the bill was passed by the House of Representatives, U.S. officials said that the shipment of military hardware to Ukraine could begin next week. Russia, on the other hand, reacted to the approval of the aid package, accusing the U.S. of getting even further into a war in which it will be humiliated. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova claimed that the military aid to Ukraine shows that the U.S. wants Ukraine to fight until the last Ukrainian dies. The aid package has been evaluated by military experts, and Moscow's statements suggest that the process is moving in such a way that Ukraine will gain an advantage. The statements of Russian officials were characterized as a reflection of anxiety and fear. The aid packages, which are expected to be finalized in the coming days, have caused panic in Moscow even before reaching the front lines. What do you think about the restructuring of the Ukrainian army, and how do you think the Russian military's strategic approach throughout the war can be interpreted? What do you think about the huge aid package that the U.S. will send to Ukraine? How do you think this support package will affect the course of the war? We care about your views. Please share them with us.